Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope everybody's doing well. And we're checking out currently Tropical Storm Isaias, which was a hurricane and is expected to become a hurricane yet again, albeit probably just a Category 1 hurricane. So it encountered some upper level shear, which has knocked it down to that tropical storm status over the Bahamas. And Florida, as well as Georgia and South and North Carolina, got to be on the alert for this, as this is going to be a close call.
A lot of water, a lot of issues going on.
So we have hurricane warnings in effect from Boca Raton all the way up to Volusia and Flagler County line as well. Storm surge in those areas could be as high as 4 feet, especially if the center tracks right along the coast. It's been going along at 10 miles an hour, and they're expecting it to slow. So, slow is not good when you're talking about these storms. It gives them more and more time to just pile on the water. And we've seen that a lot lately. So, it's definitely a case for everybody to be prepared. And you see the probable winds there as well. And we'll jump back over here to give you an idea what we're looking at with the spaghetti models. As you see, most likely it's just going to go probably up the coast, come over, and perhaps a secondary impact in South or North Carolina. And it's interesting. Savannah always seems to get spared, which is, good for Savannah. But I'm sure they'll get some rain in all this. So as of 5 p.m. Eastern time, the center of Isaias was located near latitude 25.1, longitude 78.7, and it's moving towards the northwest near 10 miles an hour. A general northwestern motion with some decrease in forward speed, as we said, is expected for the next day or so, and then a turn to the northeast. And so we will watch that carefully. As you see this dash cam, and this is going through, wow, that'll get you nauseous, wouldn't it? Can you imagine flying through a storm in the first place? I know a lot of people would probably find that exciting. I have enough with just regular flying for me.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I think it's fun. It's like, what are those glasses? Virtual reality glasses.
Yes. So Patagonia is reeling from one of its worst winters in 20 years. Agricultural emergency declared, and we have sheep being basically buried in snow along with cattle. As you can see here, there's videos. We've seen this before, unfortunately. There's been a lot of these incidents, and without a doubt, there is a lot more moisture in the air. Yeah. So it's given us more rain, it's given us more snow. And we're also getting record highs and record lows breaking everywhere we look. All that's impacting the agriculture. And here we have a violent hailstorm that hits central Slovenia, Europe's first giant hail event in 2020.
Really makes me curious if it's coming from the air, is it coming from the Arctic, is it coming from within?
Well, we've talked about that discovery of 2 to 3 times the amount of water locked up under the surface that then is in the oceans. And, we've talked about mud flood, and I do find that whole idea fascinating. There's not enough info on it. It's like it's wiped out. It's like they've covered up tracks. As you look at this spectacular, look at that. That's amazing clouds. We've seen some amazing photos of clouds. Spectacular, really. Look at that shelf cloud. It feels like it's hiding a UFO in there or something.
Or something, right.
And we have a deep 6.4 quake. This is in the Philippines. And this will definitely push some energy. And actually it already has, as we have a 6.0 that came out afterwards. There's a lot of people living in this area, over 5,720,000 people living within 100 kilometers. No tsunami threat, and being that it's so deep, it doesn't cause the damage that you have down with the shallow ones. And here we have a 6.0 over here, and this is in the Papua New Guinea area. And the energy from this will usually travel either up, heading towards Japan, or over this way, heading over towards exactly where we have that 6.0. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hawaii is picking up. There's more activity over in Hawaii. We got 28 quakes So a little bit of a swarming activity. Perhaps, was Kilauea going to wake up again? Interesting to see this one on top of Mauna Loa, negative 2.2 kilometers. So, that's pretty high up above sea level. So, again, could indicate some magma movement going on. And as we've here go out, you see we still have quite a bit of quake activity left over from that big 7.8. The Aleutian Islands always very active all along the Alaskan coast. And we still have quakes on a regular basis over here to the northeast of Boise. And we still have activity going on west of Tonopah, where we had that large quake before. We got 3.2 over here in Bodie, close to Mono Lake, and activity over there at Long Valley Caldera. And of course, Ridgecrest is still rolling, and I wonder if that was an induced quake or not, because that one, if you did want to, and we were talking about weather wars, and that's why I'm bringing this up on yesterday's video. And if you did want to say sabotage a country, why not create a big quake right in a military base? Also a quake that could do what it did and unlock the Garlock fault, which runs right through here, putting pressure on the San Andreas. So, you got to wonder what's going on. The technology's there. I think the technology's there. We've known about Tesla and his Quake machine from over 100 years ago. So I showed this to Cindy, and she said, "Oh, cool." And I said, "Those are mosquitoes." And she said, "Oh, yuck."
I know. Doesn't our perspective of things really change how we see everything?
Well, if this was desert, I'd say there were a lot of dust devils out there, but they look like little mini tornadoes, but they're actually swarms of mosquitoes. That's one tornado I wouldn't want to be caught in either, just like a horror movie, as they're saying. Lots of weird things going on. And we have a nationwide Salmonella outbreak, in case you haven't heard. Kills one and sickened over 1,000 people in the U.S.
That's really, really sad.
And they're blaming it on backyard chicks and ducklings. And think about what so many people are going to have to do now. I mean, we're going to have to be self-sufficient, grow our own food. And a lot of people are choosing to raise chickens and use them for eggs and or meat, and ducks as well. And so they are saying that's probably due to an outbreak caused by basically people that are homesteading and trying to support their families. So what's up with this? And this is, now she says, is this a Navy Apache helicopter? If so, they're in Los Angeles landing on buildings. And there's video of this. There's been a lot of unusual military activity we've filmed, and I haven't even shared with you about 3 or 4 other helicopters that we filmed just running alongside the highway in the middle of the desert. And there's been a lot of that lately. We saw one too that had some sort of bucket or something it was carrying. It would make you think of a bucket for dropping on fires, but it didn't appear to be that. So, interesting. It turns out it's a Bell AH-1 Super Cobra, and that's a twin-engine attack helicopter. Interesting. There's a lot of interesting things going on, guys. It's all good reasons to be as prepared as possible. So we have 8 still missing after U.S. Marine amphibious vehicle sank, and this was off the coast of Southern California. 1 Marine definitely dead. 8 others are still missing in this accident. And officials at Camp Pendleton in Southern California said one of the 8 Marines rescued in the mishap off the shores of San Clemente Island was declared dead after being taken to the hospital. 2 others are in intensive care, and the fate of 7 other Marines and a sailor was still unknown. So this amphibious vehicle sank. Not a good situation. And now the New York Post, why so many Americans are buying up personal bunkers. That's a man cave, all right?
It's like the ultimate man cave.
That's a good way of putting it. So Milton Torres in the picture here, he quit his job in Chicago to live full-time in this bunker at the X Point Survival Community in South Dakota. I close the door and stay in there for a few days, and then I can think again, he says. as the site's developer boasts that sales of the $35,000 dwellings are up over 600% after the CV-19 pandemic. And he's not the only one. So many people are doing this. I mean, I know personally of people that are burying trailers and things like that, just getting ready for whatever comes. And we have 25 fruits and veggies you can grow in buckets.
Which is really awesome because the water holds in buckets longer.
It does. And then you could take them in and take them out as needed.
You can. It's very useful, very, very good idea to grow things in buckets or pots. You know, you don't always have to have that big space of garden area. You can utilize, because not everybody has a patch of water. I mean, people sometimes maybe they have a patio. You can utilize that if you want to use the buckets or pots. What is that? Arugula?
Arugula,
of course.
Yeah, arugula it's kind of like a lettuce. It has a little bit of a spicy bite to it. Used sparingly in salads, it's really good. I mean, some people might like it in more abundance. But yeah, arugula definitely. Chard as well. There's a lot of different types of chard, which we found that the lizards were particularly fond of out in our garden. But see, there again, if you had buckets and things, you can move them around. Yeah. You could put them up off the ground. Different Chinese greens. I love bok choy. I really do. I love doing like braised bok choy. Kale has so much nutrition. Lettuce of all sorts. Peppers. These are the easy ones.
Moderately easy. Beets, broccoli, carrots, figs, onions, radishes, beans.
Moderately difficult beans. And, you know, there's different types, too. There's bush and pole as far as beans go. Cucumbers as well, you could do it. Again, you're going to probably end up kind of like trailing them or training them up something. Eggplant as well. Peas and squash. Squash is really easy to grow typically. And so I want to thank everybody for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. And if you've never checked out our website, go check it out. And you can look at some of the testimonials. Anybody that needs to set up a time with us, just email us at evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail or EEARTS@protonmail.com. So guys, as always, much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.